just give folks some time to trickle in just a second, if need be. Let it hit the algorithms.
That's not letting. I need to work on how like social media, like really get your social media buzz, bro.
Yeah.
There's a lot of my pages on Instagram I follow too. There's a lot of just like brand stuff, like social media stuff. That's how they get that stuff going.
All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Omaha Street Journal's first live interview. This will be a first in a series of interviews that we'll be doing in the future with locals, artists, creatives, business owners, and just regular people. Today we've got Kevin Lytle III with us today, a local brand designer with the brand Barbarian. Today we'll just be talking with him a little bit about himself, about his brand, what inspired him to get into it, and what he hopes people take away from it. Thank you for joining us today. I do want to do a quick shout out if you do want to support street journalism here in Omaha, and you love the concept and mission of what we're doing. Please go ahead and visit our website. It is on the page for you, and visit our Patreon page and hit that subscribe button. So yeah, without further ado, I'm your host Zyla Miller, and I would like to introduce today Mr. Kevin Lytle III. Just real quick, Kev, tell us a little bit about yourself. So, like, how long have you been in Omaha, and like, what's your connection to this city? And most importantly, what inspired you into design? And please take your time answering that.
Yeah, so I moved here. I just recently moved back here from Jacksonville, Florida. I was in Florida for about 19 years.
Mm-hmm.
About 19 years. So I just moved back a few years ago for my junior year of school. I've been here though. Like, I was born in Kansas City, Missouri, and then I stayed there for a little bit. Then I went to Florida for like a year or two, and then I came back home because I got a lot of family out here. Like, most of my family kind of grew up here. Like, my dad's side of the family here, my mom's side of the family being here. So I'm just back now. You know, my mom wanted to get closer to more family, so we decided to move back a few years ago. That's why I finished out the rest of my school, and yeah, I ain't like for me, why I wanted to, start a brand was because, like, I'm big on clothes, but I don't like a lot of clothes I see in like stores no more. Like, in stores, I don't really like to. It don't really do nothing for me. One and two, like, I seen a lot of like brand design been popping lately, so I was like, all right, maybe I'll give it a try. And that's when I really was like, I wanted to start something, because I don't even like shopping online either, because I like to be in person, kind of try my stuff on, like, just to get a feel for what I'm wearing and stuff. So that's really that's where that inspiration come from for me wanting to do my own stuff. So yeah.
Okay. So what would you say, as a new brand designer, what inspires you as a designer, and how do you infuse your like unique perspective, into your work? So you're wearing your Barbarian right now. Yeah. It gives us a nice view of a streetwear with a little bit of edge to it. What was the inspiration behind that?
Honestly, if you see like nowadays, especially for my generation, people that start a brand, they throw on a little, a circle with a little logo on a circle, throw on some stars, do puff print, and that's kind of what people do. So I just knew I didn't want to come in like with the same stuff. I knew I didn't want to be like everybody else, because I'm not like that's just not the type of person I am in general. So I was like, all right, I don't want to go in and just throw on a logo and just do like everybody else doing. So I was like, I took my time with it and was like, all right, let me make it something different, but also still cool that people can get behind, but also touches different avenues though. Also touches different like groups of people. So that was kind of like my biggest thing. And then, my biggest inspiration for me is honestly me. Like, I know what type of life I want to live when I'm older, And my auntie and my uncle and my granddad on mom's side of the family, my dad too, like they've been big with kind of entrepreneur work and creative work and designer work. So, that's kind of where that in my mind I think that came from, because they real big in like just businesses starting somewhere and just working their way up. So I think that's been my biggest thing. But inspiration for sure, me, for sure my family. I want to be, I kind of want to bring my family to a next generation of generational wealth type thing. So it's like, we doing good on my family right now, but I want to get to another level. I want to be able to say like, get to a point we haven't touched yet. So I feel like that answering the inspirational question for you.
Yeah. So, can you tell us a little bit about the story behind your creation of your brand, Barbarian, and like what it represents to you, and how you want people to kind of take away from, and what you want people to take away from your brand? Because I kind of know you kind of want people to like be themselves, essentially. So, do you want to go a little bit deeper in that?
Yeah. So the story behind it really. I was with my girlfriend at the time, and we was literally sitting. Because we worked together, and we was sitting there. We was like, all right, let's do a brand. Let's just do it. And that's what really we just sitting there. We sitting there at work, and we just like drawing out stuff, She was on her tablet. I was on my little paper, drawing out stuff. She was picking out logos and stuff. So we was just seeing like what was working. Mm-hmm. And honestly, the name came from, I listen to a lot of music, so the name came from like Lil Durk has a song. It's called Barbarian. That's one of my favorite songs by him. So I was like, okay, I like that name, and I like kind of the message he was putting out on it, and that's where the name came from. That's where the idea came from. Okay. And then I kind of searched the Barbarian, and if you kind of understand the meaning, it talks about a certain level of not belonging and kind of a certain level of being your own person, and like that's just where Barbarian comes from, like like working hard but also not getting caught up with what everybody else is doing. A lot of days nowadays you see with social media, with YouTube and rapping and everything else, people don't really know who they are anymore. So it's like the message behind it is really just like be yourself, showing yourself, but also showing people who you are. Like there's a lot of dope people out there, but people don't really want to, people don't really like to touch their avenues, or they scared to do too much with their friends or whatever. Like, so that was definitely, I feel like that's the meaning kind of behind it with me, and just touch on the story a little bit for how it started. So
okay, awesome. I love that, for real. So you did bring up family. You have entrepreneurial ties, or a history. How would you say your family has influenced, if not supported, your journey as like a brand designer? Yeah. Are there any particular individuals who have played a significant role in shaping your creative path?
Definitely my dad. My dad for sure. My dad right now he doing, he's kind of been on the OMAHA scene for a while now. My dad, he's real instilled on just the learning part of the brand, and like the not just selling clothes part of the brand, but actually what type of brand are we, and what can people get behind. So it's like, I definitely have that side of my mom's side of the family. They kind of real strong on the business side too. But I think definitely my dad's side, I get more of that creative, but also just that flow of still being me with it, and not being not being too tense with my audience, but just being real authentic, but also being real transparent too. So I think just really my dad's been the biggest kind of like just been helping me with his stuff, because he owns a brand too, and it's called Royal Gym Apparel. So they do a lot with like black love and black culture and stuff like that. So that's been a big thing for him that he's been working on for a while now. He's steady growing. So he's kind of been, for clothing apparel type work. That's been kind of my avenue. And then my aunt Tara, she has a yoga studio out in Arizona, and they do a lot of big stuff with that, just around the city. And my granddad, he owns a few businesses, so it's like definitely people, like I said earlier, like people instilling in me just things that I can look at and be like, okay, I like what they're doing. I want to add that to my type thing. I want to start doing that with my thing. So yeah, definitely.
Okay. Awesome. I love that. So are there actually, what are your future aspirations for Barbarian? And how do you like see your brand evolving into the future as you yourself grow as a brand designer and as an entrepreneur? How do you see your brand growing as well? Do you have any future aspirations for any new clothing coming out? Because you currently have hoodie sets and sweats at the moment. Any plans to expand on that?
Yeah, so I'm trying to go. Whatever the limit is, I'm trying to go past it. I'm trying to get up there. Like, I want to do fashion shows and stuff. I want to have my stuff in everything. So it's like right now I'm really getting into the streetwear, but I want to get into other avenues to where we can be up there with like Gucci and all them type stuff. So it's like I know that's gonna take a while, but I'm here and I'm building it. So it's like I feel like it's really ain't nothing, even with the name Barbarian and just what it stands for, I feel like I could definitely push somewhere with that and to reach a lot of people. Reach a lot of people. Like I mentioned Lil Durk, I mentioned him and I feel like I definitely can put, I don't know if we're gonna talk about collaborations later, but definitely, want to collab with different artists and different, maybe content creators just to kind of get them on my stuff, and they can get that wave and they can push it out too. They can push it out too. So just I feel like whatever, like I said though, whatever that limit is, I'm trying to get up there. So
awesome. So you definitely have some big aspirations for your brand. Do you have any hopes or any plans on expanding your reach in local community at all? Any plans to get out here more and reach people and hopefully meet other brand designers? Because Omaha as you probably know, is filled with a bunch of creatives, and I know for a fact there'd be some great opportunities to work with people to create your own possible shows.
Yeah. I feel like definitely I'm open to anything. Like I'm ready, especially being a new brand designer. I want to reach and touch as many people as possible. So it's like I'm open to whatever. As long as it's a good message behind something, let's do it. Like as long as it's somebody I can get behind, let's do it. Like as long as it's you even that connection with the person, like let's do it. Like whatever. I'm trying to grow. We all gotta eat. So it's like let's do it. Whatever. Touching base with artists, other brand designers collabing and stuff. I'm all for it. So
it's nice. I love that. We all got to eat. So, what would you say would be or have been some of your challenges along the way in creating this brand, and getting your business set up and everything like that? You're on all platforms, at least on social media wise, and you've got a website and everything like that where you can sell your stuff. But along the way, have there been any challenges in just setting that up, or any hurdles that would you want to discuss?
Yeah, I'd probably say the biggest things is, it's not cheap starting a brand, and really, the more money you put into something, the more money you get out of it. So it's not like a kind of a downside thing for me, but it's definitely not cheap. It's definitely, but also that work too, like that behind the scenes, my dad likes to call it that, my family in general likes to call it that forever learning. So it's like you kind of always you gotta be looking at everything. You gotta be working. That's been the hardest thing for me. It's changing my mindset. Like I was real stuck, especially the last few years. Like the last couple of years, I just been real, So even now, like with the interview stuff, is like I gotta really change my mindset and kind of jump into that new role. So it's like that's been one thing, and just the starting for, it's always hard to start a business. It's always hard to start somewhere, start something in general. So it's just the little basic aspects of getting your stuff out there and people gaining people's trust. So it's like that's been a big thing too. So it's like, no obstacles. I'm not ready to, keep pushing forward. Just it comes with the brain, it comes with the learning, it comes with the experience. So it's like that's really been.
Awesome. And I also want to include, we did not mention this in the beginning, but Kevin here is 19, correct? Yes. Making him an extremely young brand designer. And so being so young and being, jumping out of high school and doing this, has that caused any additional hurdles for you yourself at all? And how do you navigate being a young brand designer? And yeah, I'll let you.
I'll probably say, yeah, right now, cause especially right out of high school, you gotta what's next. That's been the biggest thing. So my biggest thing really has just been navigating a lot of things, like navigating. Whether I've been wanting to go to school or I just came back from Spain a few months ago playing basketball, so that was another thing too. So I think just my age, you really especially with a lot of people my age, like it's about that time to kind of get to work, but also it's a lot of things jumping at you. It's not just high school no more. It's not just you living in your mama's house. A lot of stuff jumping at you. So it's like you gotta really navigate. You gotta lock in, stay focused. That's probably just the biggest thing just for me, just being my age, and then also, reaching those older audiences that can put more on your brand. More or less than the younger audience. This is looking, a lot of older people. They're like, oh, he, more into the street fashion and more into the different culture. So it's like, just being my age, just being able to kind of touch everything has been, it's been a little harder than I would expect, honestly. But that just comes with it. I feel like that just comes with it. So.
Okay. And then also being so young, I would say there isn't much lived experience yet. So like, what are some things that you're hoping to do here in the future? It could be with the brand, it could be anything else you want to do in the future. What are some of your personal aspirations? You did mention possibly going to school, but you've given a thought about that. I will say, I personally didn't go to school either, just had to work and just get the grind going. So it's like, what are some just personal aspirations for yourself?
My biggest, one of my biggest goals for the future is I want to be able to travel. I want to be able to settle down, the wife, kids, or whatever that looks like, and just travel. As long as I can get up in the morning and say I want to go here, and I can go do it, I'm chilling. Like that's really my biggest thing. I love nature. I love animals. I really want to, just be free. I just want to be able to free and just be able to do whatever I want. Like, especially with the whole school thing and like with job, I've never been too good with rules. So it's like I'd rather just kind of be my own boss and do my own thing. Like nobody, as long as advice is good, but hey, you can't listen to everybody. A lot of times people get they experiences and they kind of have one view about things. So it's like, my biggest thing is I want to have my experience. I want to have my view, and I want to live my life. I want to live, and I don't want to be controlled by I don't want to be controlled by narratives or media or anything like that. So I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, that works. Yeah. So we've gone over, you're a young brand designer. We've gone over some of the challenges and hurdles that you have to face, just in general. Do you have any specific advice that you would have for folks that are thinking about starting a brand or currently have a brand and are looking for different ways to just do things in general?
I say For sure, be unique, bro. Like, be unique. Don't just look at someone and copy and paste. Like, there's a bunch of copy and paste brands out there. Be unique for sure, but also be. That's been a big thing for me too. Is being transparent, but being very what's the word I'm looking for? Being kind of in a relationship with your audience as well. It's like so they can see the person with the brand. You know, once they see the person, they like, okay, I can get behind him because he doing good. I can get behind her. I can get behind whoever. Once they can kind of get a relationship with the person, they can get a relationship with your brand. Right. So it's like, I feel like just being transparent and just being open and you know, not being afraid to get in front of the camera, not being afraid to do the extra work you gotta do at night. Like not being afraid to go to someone else's brand and not copy, but look to see what they doing good and add that to your own. You know, not being afraid to go read the books or not being afraid to go out in public and ask people about your brand. So it's like, just you gotta do the work, man. I feel like just doing the work. I'm still struggling with that too. I'm not saying I'm perfect. You know, I just started, so it's like I'm still kind of trying to get into everything. I'm still trying to do the learning process and the experience process, but that's gonna come and that's gonna grow. So that's probably my biggest advice I'd say for.
Okay. Awesome. I love that. So I guess I should ask, how has your background and identity as a young black artist, a black designer, influenced your design approach and the overall message that you convey on your work? Has it had an influence at all? And has it caused any challenges or whatsoever along the way?
You know, I'll probably say I'm gonna be honest. For the longest, like my biggest thing has been self identity, really not knowing who I was, and I'm still working on it now. Like not knowing, like everywhere I went, especially because I moved around a lot, different schools, different different states. So I've always been around. So I really kind of had to touch base into different areas. And I really had to kind of fit in places that sometimes I ain't always fit into. And I kind of forced it too much to end up getting myself into a whole different spill and losing myself in the process. So it's like I'm still working on that to this day. But you know, I feel like that's where my brand comes in because it's like even with the 3 different fonts I have for the logo, it's like the logo I got the top font, this font different, just the uniqueness of all that stuff and touching into like I got the spider in the back. I get the spider from. I'm big into anime, and the people know watch anime. They know about Hunter x Hunter. Is the Phantom Troop is a big what they got the spider and everything. They got the spider tattoo that represent they group. They represent them. Represent kind of like they, in a way, they represent a kind of like a barbarian state. So it's like I definitely and just being black in general. I like to dress nice. I like to look cool. Black people got style, so it's like I like to. I like to do I like to kind of dress, put my fit and put what I like to wear into my brand and say, okay, let's make it me. Let's make it me. Let's make us. So that's kind of, I feel like, that's probably answer the best question. So.
You're good. Alrighty. Well, I'm kind of running out of questions here. So I'll go ahead and ask you this. Is there anything that you want to leave with people today, whether it be about yourself, your brand, or just about life in general, anything that you want to share with folks to inspire them?
Yeah, man. I'll probably say, man, just like I said earlier, just be yourself, bro. Like, don't get caught up on everybody else got going on. Don't get caught up in all the distractions. Like, don't get caught up in the moment, Don't get caught up in don't get caught up in looking too far in the past, looking too far in the future. Like these last couple months have been real tough for me, just in that aspect. So it's like, and realizing in myself, like, hey, like this is just right now, it's just right now. You gotta push forward. You gotta keep going. 'Cause at the end of the day, whatever you feeling, you can't stop. The world don't stop for nobody. So it's like, you gotta keep it. You gotta keep going. You gotta keep going. You gotta keep pushing. 'Cause once you stop, then the world gonna pass you by. You'll be left behind. So I say, man, definitely be yourself. If you a dope person, you know you dope. Stand on it. So Show people who you are, man. Show people be different. Don't be scared of what everybody else got going on. Cause once you be different, then that you'll grow people. You'll have the audience that's really for you. They'll come to you. So it's like I say that, man, and just stay focused, man. Do what y'all gotta do. Do y'all work, whatever y'all passion is, and work hard for it. Whatever y'all want to do. You know, y'all can take advice from other people, but what y'all want to do? What y'all want to do the work for it, and just you know, keep learning and keep pushing. That's probably what I gotta leave with people.
I love that. I love that. Awesome. Well, I guess, guys, that will conclude our interview today with Kevin Lytle III. Thank you all for tuning in today. If you want to learn more about Kevin or in the brand, feel free to follow him on social media. We've got the Facebook linked in the description, and we'll go ahead and share his Instagram and Twitter handles too as well after the live. Is there anything else you wanted to share by chance about where people can like find you, the best way to support you?
Yeah, my Instagram is Kevin1 Lytle. I also have Instagram for my brands, Barbarian LF. Y'all want to catch me? Like, I walk around just like y'all, so if y'all want to catch me, I'll be outside. If y'all see me, I know it may not be too many people on here, but if y'all see me, if y'all, you know, I like to touch base with people. I like people coming to me. I like to come up to people. If I see people doing something good, I like to collab with people. So definitely, if y'all want to do something, hit me up on social media. Like if y'all want to, people in the area, like let's do it. Like I said, so you know, Kevin1 Lytle, definitely my Instagram. You can catch my other Instagram page on there, and I do have a YouTube, by the way, and I'll share my YouTube with you if you want to put that on YouTube. So yeah.
All right. Well, with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and end this, and I hope everybody has a wonderful day.